Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Lex and I would absolutely love it if you love this content, if you would like, share, comment, and subscribe. It helps me to grow my channel. It lets me know that you guys like the videos and it allows me to keep creating and keep growing. I do want to say first off, thank you guys for bearing with me. I was in New York last week, so I recorded one video, but then I ended up having like some weird technical difficulties with the Airbnb, and it just got to a point where I couldn't really record. So thank you guys for bearing with me and understanding why the videos were late. In this video, I'm going to touch on episode 21. The only thing I really want to talk about is the video, because I'm going to be honest, I actually skipped through a very big chunk of that episode because I don't like those games where they spit into each other's mouths. I don't like those games. I can't watch it. I always skip that challenge when they do it. And then I want to talk about the Casa recoupling and the aftermath, and also touch on just a couple of things that were talked about on After Sun. So we're technically going to be talking about episodes 21 through 24, but we're going to probably have more of a heavy focus on episodes 22 through 24. Let's say that. So yes, thank you guys for bearing with me, and let's get into it. So at the end of episode 21, Kaylor gets a text.
It's okay. Serena, I don't think you should break. You idiot.
Well, they having a blast. We over here fucking.
Wait.
That's it.
You're freaking.
Kind of like it.
I do too.
You're okay. Why you dirty flake?
Daniela, no. No.
Oh my gosh, Aaron with some feet rubbing.
Oh, this is gonna be good. He ain't holding back, bro. And I love it, bro. That boy is like, this is not Kaylor. Take it up.
We already saw in the preview that there was going to be a video sent. We already kind of assumed that the video was going to be sent, so I feel like it wasn't that shocking. But Kaylor gets a text, and basically they get a story from the villa. And so anyways, in this video we see a story from the villa, and it is basically only 2 clips. So we basically see Cordell in the bed making out with Dea. We see that, and then we proceed to see Cordell like dry humping Dea. And in the preview, it looked like they was doing the boom boom. In this video, I think it's clear that that seems a bit overblown, but either way, they were definitely at least dry humping. So we see that, and as I said, we see Cordell talking and making out with Dea. Then when it comes to Aaron, we see Aaron speaking in Spanish with Daniela. Remember, they had that conversation where he basically said, I want to kiss you, but I don't want to hurt someone else's feelings. And then we see him rubbing her feet, and they're clearly getting intimate. So we don't see the two of them kiss per se, but we definitely see them get close. Okay? So we also get one more scene of Kendall being an instigator. And I've said this through and through, in Casa, Kendall is a little instigator. And I'm the type of person where if you're doing something crazy and your friend's hyping you up, F you and your friend too. Because I'm sorry, but Kendall has been doing a little bit too much, in my opinion, during Casa Amor. He has been a little instigator. We see him hyping the guys up, saying, oh, whatever. So that is the video. First reaction that Kaylor has, she obviously storms off crying, sobbing. Serena says, I told him I would not put up with disrespect. I told him I wouldn't do that. And at this point, they watch the video again. Kaylor is literally like having a meltdown. And she watches this video like 20 times in one night. But one of the points they actually had Iggy, as they're calling him, Ignacio, they had him translate for them because they couldn't understand the conversation that Daniela and Aaron had. So I thought that was nice of him because he ain't have to translate that one for one. He could have definitely just like said whatever. So I do like that. And Nicole also wants to listen to what Kendall said. And he says, oh, that's not Kaylor. If you remember that scene, he's like, oh, that's definitely not Kaylor. So at this point, Kaylor is having a meltdown, and Serena is in pure shock about how Cordell was acting. She said that, you know, she copes by making jokes because this happens so often to her. And again, I think there are so many people that have been so harsh on Serena. I'll talk a little more about how I feel towards Serena when we get to the last night's episode, but I just feel like so many people have been really harsh towards Serena and have really infantilized Cordell and given him this like golden boy edit, and I don't know. By the way Cordell acted in Casa, I'm just not really sure that Cordell is this like significantly better young boy who like didn't know what he was doing, and Serena's this big bad instigator mastermind. Like, I don't know. I'm sorry. I said this in the last video. Like, I just don't really understand it. And I know some of y'all disagreed with me. And I'm not even mad at y'all because y'all came at me respectfully. So I actually appreciate that. But for those of y'all who disagree, I'm still like, how can you watch this? Do y'all still disagree? Because I don't know. I don't know. So Serena does say she feels stupid and she cries in her confessional. So that's how we end the episode, and we go straight into episode 22. So at this point, Kaylor is still crying about the video. She is calling herself an idiot. And Liv and Nicole are comforting her and saying it's not something good, you know? They are really trying to get Kaylor to calm down. And I'll be honest, when I was watching this, I was actually concerned about Kaylor. Like, of course I'm concerned about Serena and her mental health, and there's a reason why Serena is the way she is. There's a reason why she might be a slow burner. There's a reason why she might not immediately get onto a guy. So I was definitely worried about both of them, where I was like, that therapist y'all claim you have on site, I'm gonna need you all to bring her in. So Serena actually goes up to the guys and she's like, man, you won't believe what I just saw.
I don't know.
Let's ass slap.
Okay, yeah, you're right. That is wild.
I'm sick as fuck, but the last thing I'm about to let
and she says she cannot believe she let that 22-year-old man treat her like that. Says it's done, it's wrapped, she's ready to rip him to shreds. Oh, my baby. And Kaylor is standing on the chair shouting. I mean, both of them are not doing well. And it's just crazy because it's like no one else did anything in Casa really like that. I'm surprised because like even at that point, Kenny had not done anything yet. But I felt really bad. I felt really, really bad. I actually genuinely felt bad for both women because I do feel like these men were wilding out, and then I think they were both definitely plotting to come back and try to act like nothing happened. So Aaron and Rob are talking, and you know, Aaron says that he came to a realization that Kaylor, I'm sorry. I almost said Rob. I think Rob is the one for him. No. But he came to a realization that Kaylor is the one. And so Rob is urging him, talk to Daniela. You know. Now, if y'all watch After Sun, it was revealed that when Kaylor yelled, F you, Aaron, apparently they were able to hear that in the other villa. So keep that in mind when you're watching the way that Aaron's moving this episode, because I have some theories, okay? I'll dispel my theories a little later, but keep that in mind that Aaron heard Daniela. Because remember, previous episode, he was all over Daniela, saying that, you know, they relate, rubbing her feet, saying that he can't resist her. Next episode, all of a sudden, it's, oh, I've realized Kaylor is actually the one. Oh, I've had a sudden change of heart overnight that Kaylor's the one. Aaron, fool someone else. You ain't fooling me, man. You ain't fooling me. So Kaylor watches the video again. At this point, I really think Kaylor was on her 30th or 40th time watching this video, and she starts crying again. So at this point, Rob and Daniela have a conversation, and Daniela is kind of flirting. She's telling Rob, don't avoid eye contact with me when you're talking to me, because as we see, Rob just be having that 10-yard stare. He don't be looking at nobody, okay? So she says, do not avoid that. Rob cuts her off when she is speaking to talk about how he does not talk a lot. Rob is not a good conversationalist, and I'm tired of him being able to feign that he's mysterious and he's this. No, I genuinely think Rob lacks intellect. I'm sorry. I think he lacks intellect, and he's attractive, so he can get away with it. I think Rob is an example of what pretty privilege can do for a person, because, baby, it ain't for me. I don't even feel the sparks in this conversation whatsoever. Like, it doesn't feel like there's any sparks there. And now keep in mind, again, that Aaron wanted to be with Daniela. For me personally, I feel like Rob and Aaron kind of concocted to have Daniela come in the villa. Anywho, Daniela claims that she's been feeling Rob. We haven't seen it. We haven't seen them talk, I don't think. So Kendall at this point is going around asking all of the guys how they are feeling about their Casa pairings or their old partner. And Miguel is kind of debating whether he wants to bring Sierra back. You know, Miguel's here for a good time. That's it. That's all I got. Miguel ain't here for nothing serious. He is here for a good time. And as I've said before, I respect Miguel being honest and saying, I am here for a good time, not a long time. Meanwhile, we also see Janae debating between Kenny, Jacoby, and Josiah. Now, Janae, I gotta be honest with y'all. Janae, she's still my girl. I'm rooting for everyone black. But I will say Janae during Casa gave me a very much like I said, I've said it before, I feel like Janae gives very much lover girl energy. She's into whoever shows her attention. And she's talking to Leah about who she ultimately feels like she's going to choose. She does say she does not believe that Kenny is acting up in Casa. Keep that in mind when we hear Janae's decision. But she does say Jacoby would be a safe choice. Like I said, for Janae, I do feel bad for her. Janae has taken a lot of L's in this show, but I also feel like Janae kind of pours it all out on her sleeve very quickly to any guy who's showing some attention, which I think is dangerous in its own way. So at this point, Kenny, we see him kind of having his first conversations. He hasn't really had conversations with anyone, at least that we've seen in Casa. So he's talking to Sydney, and she says that she wanted to cuddle with him, but you know, he tells her basically he does not know where his head is at because he's only known her and Janae for 3 to 4 days. And again, that is true. Like, I think that it's not like Kenny and Janae were in a long-standing relationship. They were all obviously in a relationship prior to him going to Casa, or coupled up, let me say. But it's not like they were really together any longer than Kenny would have been with any one of these girls. So I kind of understood where he was coming from. I will say, Kenny, I don't personally believe his intentions were nefarious. I do think Kenny, like, genuinely was, like, overwhelmed and in over his head with all of this. So, Serena is crying, or sorry, Rob and Daniela decide to sleep together. I thought that was interesting. I really was like, like, y'all two really just share the same girls, huh? Those two literally have the same taste in girls and share the same girl. Next morning, Serena is crying, and she says she does not want to give the satisfaction of her tears to Cordell. And as I said, I think Serena, I see parts of myself in Serena where it's like, you want to keep strong, you don't want to let someone bring you down, and so you hold in a lot of your feelings. But obviously, that is not the way to go. And I think that Serena, again, I do believe she genuinely was a slow burner and had a hard time opening up to Cordell. And I think when you have those trust issues, I mean, right, because there's a reason why you're a slow burner, you have trust issues. And so I think when you have those types of issues, it's really hard when someone shows you, oh, this is why I'm like this. That being said, I don't necessarily think Serena was a good choice for Love Island. I don't think she should be on a show like this because I think there is an expectation that you are going to be a fast burn on this show. I don't really think there's a lot of leeway or forgiveness for people who are slow burners on this show. So I do think I'm not really sure what she expected to come out of being on a show like this. I'm curious if she's ever seen the show. And Aaron also slept outside. And I'm like, what is even the point? Like, you slept with Daniela every day. But Aaron knew. Aaron knows the girl that he chose. He knows Kaylor and the type of person he is. And that's why I say I think Aaron is honestly probably the most dangerous guy in the villa. Because Rob, Cordell, I think a lot of their stuff, I'm not giving them an excuse, but I think a lot of their stuff comes from aloofness. And I don't think that they're like masterminds that are planning stuff. Aaron, I do. I think Aaron is a mastermind who plots his every move and knows exactly what he's going to say and exactly how he's going to move. And for me personally, I did not like watching Aaron in like these couple of episodes. I really didn't. So, Kenny and Catherine are also talking. I didn't see a lot of note in this conversation, but they do kiss. Like, did the guys get in Kenny's head? I feel like the guys definitely got in Kenny's head and made him feel like he had to start talking to somebody, because otherwise I was just lost that this particular episode, Kenny decided to be all into the two girls that ain't nobody talking to. So Jalen and Kaylor have a chat. He actually pulls her, and Liv and Nicole are literally like on the balcony, like trying to spy on the chat. So Jalen comes in really quick and he says he is not interested in anyone besides her and that they have chemistry. And he's really starting to quickly get touchy-feely with her. And it actually escalates incredibly quick where he's like, you know, kiss me, basically.
Not just one?
I can't yet.
So you're gonna tell me no? No way.
I can't yet. I can't.
Right? And she's like, I can't. He's like, you're really gonna tell me no? And I was like, what are you doing? Like, I don't know. First off, you clearly saw how distraught this girl was over a whole nother guy just last night, right? It hasn't even been 24 hours. And second of all, if a girl tells you that she does not want to kiss you or do something physical with you, for you to try to force her? I didn't like that. I'll be honest, I didn't really like that when I was watching that. I got really icky and weird vibes off of Jalen. Thank God I think Kaylor also could kind of clock it and was like, I'm good, because I don't know, no is no. Like, if someone tells you no, it's not no, try to convince me, it's no, I don't want to. And clearly Kaylor was not like trying to be funny and flirty with it. She was clearly distraught over somebody else and not interested in kissing him. So glad that didn't go anywhere. So at this point, they get a text. And it tells them that the Casa is going to be over and they are going to recouple. I was talking with somebody and they felt like Casa was shorter this year. I don't remember, so y'all can let me know in the comments. But some people are speculating, right, that Casa ended early because Aaron and the girls over there could hear Kaylor yelling from the villa. It did seem short, but I think it is usually this short. But it is weird because it sounds like it was only 3 to 4 days, and I feel like it's usually 5 days, like a whole week, right? So I don't know. Maybe I'm tripping, but it seemed very short this season. And like, we didn't really get to see or know most of the boys. I mean, granted, I've already said I don't think this group of guys was doing it. I don't really think this group of guys, the girls could have gotten a little bit better. Y'all want to break up couples, but you brought those guys in. No offense. But Ariana shows up, and it is time for the recoupling. So, First off, Liv chooses Kane. Girl, Liv is here for a fun summer, okay? Liv does not have connections with anybody. I mean, she was smart to bring back someone. Don't see anything romantic between her and Kane, but it was smart of her to actually bring someone back. Nicole chooses to stay with Kendall, and Kendall also chooses to stay loyal, so, I mean, I was happy for those two. Look, I've come around to liking Kendall and Nicole. I feel like I misjudged Nicole. I think Nicole seems like a pretty nice person, and it seems very clear that she genuinely is into Kendall, so they stay together. Leah chooses to stay loyal to Miguel. Was anybody else confused by that? I was like, girl, I thought you and Miguel were on the same page, that you two were just having a fun time. Like, I don't know. For me, I was like, huh? What do you mean you're staying loyal to Miguel? I could have sworn that Leah was going to bring in Ignacio, so I'm a little bit confused at why she did not bring in Ignacio. She says that everything feels natural and amazing with Miguel, and she wants to keep going. I didn't understand Leah's decision, because I, 10 toes down, thought that Leah and Miguel were on the same page, that they're here for a fun time. Neither one of them has too high of expectations about anything, so I don't know. I was a little confused there. Miguel brings in Sierra. I'm not shocked at that, though. I was not shocked that Miguel brought in Sierra, because again, Miguel is here for a fun time. I don't know what got into Leah's rabbit-ass head, where I was like, girl, why did you not bring back Ignacio? Like, what is going on? I actually felt secondhand embarrassment at this point. And he tells Sierra that just because he's with her, they're not in a couple. I don't know. I'm going to be honest with you. If I was these Casa girls, I would have headed out. I would have just been like, you know what? I'm good. Because the way these men were moving once they actually saw the girls in the villa again, if I was a Casa girl, I would have been like, I'm just going to leave. This ain't the place for me. I'm out. So, Janae chooses to stay loyal to Kenny. I was a little shocked because I thought there was a possibility she might pick Jacoby, but I think that Janae just kind of wanted to stick with what she knew. Tell me why Kenny walked out with Catherine. Kenny brought back Catherine. We barely even saw Kenny and Catherine talk. As I said, with Kenny, I genuinely believe the guys got in Kenny's head. I believe the guys really made Kenny believe that because he was in Casa, he needed to experiment and play the field and try to see who was out there. I also think that Kenny, in his mind, believed that Janae was going to bring someone back. I really feel like he thought that she was going to bring one of the guys back, and he didn't want to be left single and embarrassed. So I think that's why he brought Catherine. Because we see later, again, he's kind of another example of saying like, well, I like her, but, you know. So at this point, Janae is pissed. Janae starts to get up and she says, I want to go home. I want to go home. I want to go home. He, as I stated before, he says Casa gave him the chance to develop and build connections with other ladies. And at this point, Janae says, who do you have a stronger connection with, me or her? I'm going to be honest. Janae does a little too much for me. I'm rooting for everyone black. I am rooting for Janae. I feel like I have to keep saying that to y'all. But Janae does a little too much for me. It's giving pick me. It's giving desperation. Why are in the front of all of the girls are you asking if he has a stronger connection with you or with her? What do you think he's gonna even say? Like, I don't know. I just thought that was a little bit too much. And he does say Janae, but it's like one of those things where what answer do you expect him to give? Like, I don't really like Janae's behavior with these guys. It gives pick me, it gives insecure, and I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Like, I feel like someone has to say it. So he says at this point that he feels like he can build that connection with Kat, and he wants to see where it can go. I mean, I kind of theorized that Kat is more of Kenny's type, and he brought her back because she's his type. Like, I don't know. You know, I'm just saying, but I don't know. I feel like with Janae and Kenny, I understood Janae's reaction on like a surface level, but as things kept playing along, I just felt like Janae was doing too much. I felt like she was doing too much. And I understand that she's saying she's taking L after L after L after L, but at the same time, it's like, girl, you were just starting off with Kenny. Like, I don't know. And you also were talking with the guys. I'm surprised she didn't bring back Jacoby. I don't know. So Kaylor chooses to be single, and y'all, I almost died during this scene. Oh, I don't know if I can say that word on YouTube. I almost passed out during this scene. Because I was like, oh my God. So Kaylor chooses to be single. She says she's choosing herself, some canned response. Then Aaron comes back in the villa single.
Oh, shit.
No, it doesn't know. It doesn't yet.
Let's go! Not yet, Aaron. Not yet.
Shit.
Oh my God.
He's like, let's go! Yes! Because he thought that Kaylor stayed single to be with him. Janae's like, not yet, Aaron. Not yet. To the, like, in the crowd. And I'm like, I was so embarrassed. Kaylor asks him to explain the video. He asked what she saw. I think we need to keep in mind that he asked that because he wanted to know what she saw in order to manipulate that mind. The craziest thing to me is that Aaron really thought, because the reason why he was saying, let's go, is because he thought he got away with it. He really thought that he got away with it. That he was going to get back with Kaylor and slide past everything else he did with Daniela. Y'all ain't scared of this man, because to me, that man scares me the most of any man in this villa, because he actually seems like he has some degree of intellect, and that's scary. He has intellect to be able to manipulate, and that is scary. So she tells him what she saw, and he tries to say, look, there was multiple days there in the villa. There was multiple days. I'll talk about it more later. And I don't know why all of the guys tried to say this, where they were like, there was like 4 days there. You only saw 2 days. Okay, so? So? What does there being 2 days, 4 days, 6 days? What does that have to do with your actions? I didn't get the guys' rhetoric where they kept saying there was more days than you guys saw. It does not matter. And Aaron, you're in a position where not even everything you did was shown. So you keep saying there's more days, more days, more days. That doesn't make you look better. It makes you look worse. It makes you look worse. Anyway, they sit down and they originally sit next to each other. Oh, I forgot to mention, Kaylor was smiling her happy ass off when that man walked in. I knew from the minute she was cheesing and grinning like it was not, they were getting back together. Kaylor doesn't give me strong. Kaylor doesn't give me somebody who will stand on business. I knew they were going to get back together. Anyway, Rob brings back Daniela. I am still of the theory that Aaron wanted both Daniela and Kaylor in the villa, so he arranged with Rob to bring her back. I believe it. Daniela says she has a good time, and again, Aaron, all the girls are sitting around like, is that Daniela? Is that Daniela? Is that her? Why is she with Rob and not with Aaron? Aaron claims he is going to explain later because the girls are confused. He kept saying all night, I'll explain later, I'll explain later, I'll talk to y'all later. Okay. Serena chooses to stay single as well. Cordell comes back with Dea. Cordell says he knew Serena was going to be single. He says the video was taken out of context, and she said she knew as she got some attention and got his thing wet that he would be gone. That's what I said. I said Cordell was one of the guys getting the least attention in the villa. So as soon as he got some attention, he was going to be out. He claims he was thinking about her the whole time. And he tries to say sorry and Serena flips him off. All I have is And that is kind of where we end the episode. Okay, that's where we end the recoupling off. Things are in shambles. So I do want to touch a little bit on After Sun. I already mentioned that Sydney had said that the girls could hear Kaylor yelling F you, Aaron. And I think that is kind of responsible for the switch up. The other thing revealed is that we are going to have 2 new bombshells coming back into the villa, and it is Cassie of Cassie and Leo and Harrison. I think, well, one, late bombshells typically don't tend to do well, so I don't think either one of them is going to be there for super long. But number 2, Harrison? I mean, I remember all the girls liked him last season, but ugh, please. Okay, so episode 24, last night's episode. So we start off with Janae crying. She says that she does not want to keep taking L's. Nicole is saying she is proud of Serena for how she handled things. And Kendall, in his confessional, says the girls were ruthless. And I'm like, Kendall, but what about your friends, though? Were your friends not ruthless? Also, what kind of throws me about Kendall and the way he is that Kendall is also friends with the girls. Like, the OG girls. So, I don't know. Like, I get it. I get this bro code stuff. Like, I get it. The girls have been doing girl code. Like, but at the same time, it's like, you guys were friends with each other. So you can't see for even a second how yo boys' actions may have hurt some of the girls? So, Aaron hugs Janae and he is begging her to talk to Kenny. And as I said, I will say that. I agree. As I said, I think Kenny is the only one who might have a legitimate explanation for what he did. Where I feel like it's not as nefarious as Janae feels like it is. I obviously understand she's triggered, because she's had a rough experience. And as I said, we do not have that good of an experience on these dating shows. So I understand why Janae is triggered. So the Casa girls are standing around like, oh my God, that was so mean. Like, that was not acceptable. And I'm like, guys, I don't know. I would never, well, first off, you would never catch me on these dating shows, period. But you couldn't pay me to be a Casa girl. Because all you do is come in and stir up drama and then come into a villa full of people who don't like you. I could never. I could never. Sign me out. So Serena is talking to Aaron, and once again, he claims that he is going to explain the video. Where is the explanation, Aaron? Hurry up. Now, he tells her to speak to the girls and, to speak to the girls to hear what happened. Because, again, he's trying to cover his bases, saying, look, even the girls will tell you not much happened with them. And Serena says, I'm not talking to them hoes. And I was like, I get it. I get that she's upset, but oh boy, and for the record, I don't believe the Casa girls should be bullied. I don't believe the Casa girls deserve to be shit on every day. I don't believe they deserve to be called out their names. However, Daya was talking her mess about Serena. And y'all can't say that's not true. Okay. Aaron tries to go up to Kaylor, and Kaylor says, stay away from me. Should we start a countdown timer on the side for how long it took for Kaylor to crack and run back and fall back into this man's arms? Okay. Anywho, Serena, Rob, and Miguel are talking, and they are telling her that Daya really likes Cordell, or, you know, talking about how he was in Casa. They say that he was talking about Serena the whole time, though. The guys do admit that they had no idea about the dry humping. And Serena says, look, there's nothing he can do to recover from this. You know, she said that he said they were going to be respectful, and they weren't. And I think it's interesting because I think at the end of the day, I kind of get where Serena's coming from. I think for me, I've said from day one, Cordell has not been upfront. A lot of people want to say Cordell's this sad puppy, Cordell's this, Cordell's that. And it's like, I don't know. First off, if you are to believe, like, I feel like a lot of people come from the angle that Cordell was 100% into Serena and Serena wasn't into him. But I'm like, clearly Cordell was not 100% into Serena either. Because he jumped ship so quickly. Like, I'm sorry, but if you're all in 100% on someone, you know, your head's not turning, you claim before Casa you're going to have boundaries and all of these different things, and then you go be with someone else, you're not 100% in on them. And if that's the case, in my personal opinion, I don't understand why Serena doesn't also have a right to be upset. Right? I think that Cordell's biggest downfall is lack of communication and lack of honesty. Let's keep going. Leah, Cordell, and Kenny are talking. And she's telling them that they were respectful of them while they were having a time. Leah's like, you know, we were respectful of you guys here in the villa while you guys were having a crazy time. She says they sent all of the guys home except Kane. And, you know, she said, and telling them that Janae really liked Kenny and was ready to see where it could, he said he really liked Kenny and was ready to see where it could go. So Cordell's like, so what y'all see in the video? Cordell was ready for tea. He was like, what y'all see in the video though? And Leah tells him that they saw Daya on top of him. And Leah continues to stand 10 toes down behind her friend and says, Serena slept outside the whole time. So Kendall and Nicole, they're all good. They're all good. There's nothing there. She does tell Kendall she was vibing with George and Kane, but they tried to kiss her. She said no. Kendall, you know, he had a rough start. Kendall had a rough start, but he might have this in the bag now because, baby, ain't nobody else in this show on any kind of anything. Because they're making out now, Kendall and Nicole. So, Kaylor and Aaron finally sit down for their first chat.
Obviously, they showed interest in each other, but Rob took a step back from it because of me. I did like her at the end of the day, like I did. Like, we're in an open. We said before we went up there, I was like, we're in right? We're so open. I feel like we didn't get tested, so I was just like, okay, I'll go.
He says that he's going to be chronological and he'll be honest as possible. So he says day one, Rob was interested in Daniela, but took a step back because of him. He brings up, you know, remember Kaylor, you know, we said we were open before we went in. Manipulation. Manipulation. You're trying to manipulate this girl by being like, well, remember, we were open. Okay. Now he claims that he and Daniela pecked a few times and then he spiraled and felt bad and that was it. Oh, Lord. So, They go back and forth for a little while. You start to see the cracks in Kaylor. She says that she's glad that he's back, but doesn't know. And he says, can I have a hug? And they hug, and he kisses her on the cheek. Soon as that happened, I knew it was over. I knew that those two were back together. So Liv and Kaylor decide to talk to the Casa girls. They introduce themselves. Catherine says, you know, I don't know why Catherine speaks up and says this, but Catherine's like, Aaron is sweet, and he was so excited to come back to you. And Kaylor's like, I know, I'm very lucky, but...
Sierra.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. I want to say that Aaron is literally the sweetest person ever, and he was like really excited to come back to you. We feel like he cares about you a lot.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yes. But I also have to stay true to myself, and I
For sure.
like,
100%.
I feel like, you know, I kind of did a better job at keeping to myself at this time.
And that's fair.
Yeah.
That's really
I have to be true to myself, and I don't know, I just thought it was weird, because, like, is it your friend sitting right there that also liked Aaron? I don't know. Strange conversation. So Cordell and also pulls aside Dea, and he says he's not forgetting about her, but he still needs to talk with Serena. Like I said, if I was these Casa girls, I would just go home. Because none of these guys are trying to be with y'all anymore once they see the girls in the villa. Dea says she does not like the theatrics and disrespect, and then she tries to claim they never dry humped. And I'm like, why are you lying? This is my problem with Dea. Is that Dea is a liar. Like, I'm sorry, but like, why in the world are you flat out lying when we saw you on camera dry humping Cordell? We saw it. Like, there's no need to lie since we literally saw it. I don't, He says he feels some regret about leaving Dea, but he, you know, he would have felt some regret about leaving Dea, but he also had a strong connection with Serena. I don't know, dude. I don't know. I think a lot of these men are realizing how caught up they are, and now all of a sudden they want to change their tune. So, Janae and Kenny have the chat. Janae says, you know, she starts off by saying it hurts because he knows how it's been really hard for her in the villa.
Because I feel like you know it's been hard for me, so for you to do that was just really hurtful. I'm just personally not the type of girl to sit here and fight for a man. Like, if you have two options and you can't decide and I'm one of them, I will decide for you. Please pick her. Pick her.
Agreed. I think that she has had a pretty tough road. You know, at this point, Janae is not that happy. Kenny's like, oh my God. She tells him, go explore that spark. Because he says that he has a spark with Catherine. And so she tells her, go explore that spark then. He says he was borderline in tears and he does care about her. And at this point, they're both crying. Janae tells him to go be happy with her because she's obviously who he wants. And she says, I am done. I am finished. This is over. And as I said, I genuinely hope that Janae will sit down and talk with Kenny. Because I do, again, believe that Kenny is somebody who really fell into pressure and really fell into like getting into his own head and believing that Janae was with someone else, even though she wasn't. So at this point, Kenny walks away from the conversation. Serena and Leah are there, and he starts to break down. And you can tell that Leah is kind of like, I think Leah is a little more level-headed than Janae. I do feel like Janae goes 0 to 100, and she feels really, really overwhelmed and starts crying. And so I think you could even tell that Leo was kind of like, yeah, like we, you know. And I hope that the girls talk some sense into Janae, personally. So Kaylor and Aaron sleep together in soul ties. And Janae also sleeps outside. So the next morning, Kaylor's in the dressing room telling the girls that Aaron was sincere with his apology. You know I seem weak-minded. And I forgot who spoke up, but they were like, it might have been Liv, who was like, look, girl, no matter what your explanation, I'll stand behind you 10 toes down. I feel like, girl, you just want this man and that's fine. couldn't be me, but you just want this man. You believe his stories. Good for you. Cordell is making breakfast for both women. So Cordell goes to deliver the breakfast to Dea.
I got your back.
You know if you mix it with Red Bull, it's even worse. Damn.
This is for you. You're welcome.
Don't even. Don't even. Serena.
Well, this is for you.
He puts Dea's down, says this is for you. She's like, thank you. And then Serena says, don't even. Don't even. As he's walking towards her with the breakfast, don't even. She says, don't even do it. Like she spills the breakfast back on him. I was like, ay. And as Cordell's walking out, Janae's like, good morning, Cordell. And Leah's like, good morning, Cordell is crazy. And I was like, oh my God. Serena in her beach hut says, you made your bed, now hump in it. Ooh, baby. Now, Sierra is talking with the Casa girls and she is crying because all of the guys made the girls breakfast except Miguel for her. You know, she says the switch up is crazy. The girls are like, look, I feel like you're just making excuses not to like him. I mean, I'm gonna be honest. I feel like Miguel was never serious. And I feel like Sierra, if you feel like Miguel's serious, you probably should run that way because Miguel ain't serious. But he does eventually bring her breakfast. So Aaron and Cordell are talking, and Cordell says that he feels like Serena cares about her ego, not him, because she feels like she got played. He says he misses Serena in his confessional. He misses hugging her, playing around. And I think, I think that's interesting. My thing is this. I think that, sure, all of us care about our ego and the way we look and how we come off to people. Like, I feel like that's not uncommon. I feel like that's not the craziest thing in the world. But I'm also not going to sit here and say that I don't think Serena likes this man. I just don't know how you guys can watch, like, how anybody can watch this and think Serena doesn't like him. Think it's fake. Like, I don't know. I think it's one of those things where it's like once you realize what you had and it got away, maybe you realize you have more feelings. But I don't think that it was just because of her ego and because she felt embarrassed. I think Serena felt triggered because this reminds her of her previous experiences. Catherine and Kenny also have a conversation. And, Catherine says that she thought it was rude that Janae asked him which connection is better. And he claims that he only said Janae in order to comfort her because at the time she was crying and she was like really distraught. So Dea and Sierra are also talking, and she's saying, Dea saying she knew that it would be awkward coming into the villa, but she didn't think it would be that crazy. So Sierra said that Serena was wishy-washy, and Dea showed him the affection that he wanted, so she's just trying to comfort Dea. So Aaron and Serena, they're like sitting on the couch, and they're like cuddling, and I was like, I know y'all are friends, but what is going on? So she's telling Aaron that Cordell never had to worry that there was disrespect even when they weren't there. And she starts crying again. And Leah and Miguel also have a talk. So Miguel's straight up like, look, we kissed outside the challenges. I'm not gonna like try to play with you. And Leah's like, it's not the end of the world. Like, again, I think Leah and Miguel are on a very similar page where they understand, like, we're not locked in, we're not in a relationship, we're not in anything. So she does mention Janae at this point, and how she's feeling. They just talk that through again. Leah and Miguel, they be like gossiping. It's kind of funny. They be gossiping with one another. They also talk about Serena and Cordell, and he tries to say that it wasn't even 90% of what happened. And then he proceeds to tell Leah that Cordell was 90% Serena, 10% Dea. Keep this in mind because this 90-10 thing becomes a big point of contention. So, Daniela and Rob are talking. Daniela says she is going to eventually talk to Kaylor, but, you know, maybe when she's ready. Or Rob encourages her to talk to her when she's ready, and they kiss. So we get to nighttime. Kaylor is asking yet another person about Aaron's actions in Casa. This time she asks Rob, and Rob flat out in his beach hut is like, look, I don't know, like, I don't have the words to make Kaylor feel better, like, I don't know what to say. And it's like, girl, you're choosing to get back with this guy, so you're probably gonna have to stop this. Like, I don't know. It's like, either choose not to be with him, or choose to be with him, you know? Kaylor and Daniela finally talk. So, Daniela says she wanted to share a bed with Aaron, but there was rules. She says she wanted to stay friends, and, you know, after everything went down, she does claim that he just wanted to stay friends, and he wanted to be with Kaylor. And it's like, huh? Like, you know what I mean? She doesn't mention the kiss. She doesn't mention all of the other things that happen. The cuddling, the intimate conversations in Spanish. Like, she doesn't mention any of that. So, Dea, afterwards, you know, Daniela goes back to the girls, the Casa girls, and she's like, Dea's like, did you lie? And it's like, ew, did you lie? Alright. And she's like, yeah, I kind of freaked out. I told her we didn't cuddle the first night. And I'm like, shh. I feel bad because I feel like Kaylor is going to be torn to shreds between the Twitter challenge happening this week and the movie night happening this week. I just don't know about Kaylor at this point. So Serena and Dea also have a talk. So Dea starts saying that she has a more physical connection with Cordell than Serena does. She says she wants to be close to him, but she does not want to have sex with him. She says that he was honest about the connection that he had with Serena, but she was doing a lot, so he was starting to turn his head. And then Serena brings up, okay, well, I heard that he said he was 90% me, 10% you. So, and Dea's like, that never happened. And Serena flips out. Like, Serena literally snaps. She said, she goes up, she tells all the boys, F you.
Kendall, don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Fuck you.
What is she fucking know about?
Fuck him. Fuck Miguel. Fuck all the boys over there talking y'all shit.
Pop a ham.
Something just happened.
What?
Serena just popped off.
Wait, Serena.
You know, to Rob, to Miguel, she calls Miguel a liar. She says, fuck Cordell's nappy-headed ass. I was laughing, but I was like, oh boy. And she calls Cordell a piece of shit. So she finally confronts Cordell.
Fuck!
Serena, stop.
Don't fucking touch me. I still don't want to fucking talk to your ass because it is what it is. You wasn't feeling bad in the slightest when your ass was over. No, there was no type of consideration for me or you wouldn't have done half the shit you did. Half the shit.
First off, I told her. I felt like I disrespect you. I told her
and
straight
kept
in your
doing
fucking
it?
face. Listen.
So how?
She says he's an actor. He's putting on a fucking act. Dea says that the guys were saying with her that he's never been so happy, he's never been smiling as much as he's been in Casa, but said the same thing to Serena. And that is true. That is true because we saw those scenes of especially Kendall. So Serena and Cordell talk. She tells him he's fucked up, he is not respectful in the slightest. He said he didn't feel bad or have consideration when he was in Casa. She says she felt like he disrespected her and Zendaya. And Serena says it makes no sense. Oh, sorry. He says he felt like he disrespected Serena, and he even told Daya that. And Serena's like, that makes no sense. You kept doing it. He tries to say he's human, he messed up, and Serena's like, so am I. He tries to apologize, and Serena says she's done. And that's kind of where we end off. Now, I want to say this. I think the biggest issue with this Cordell and Serena situation is Cordell's lack of truth. I have said this from day one. If Cordell had straight up just been like, look, Serena, you're a slow burner. I found Daya, who is someone that I am also attracted to. So while I'm attracted to you and I like you, I also like her, and she is giving me the affection and moving at the speed that I want to move at. I don't get why Cordell's not just telling the truth of like, Daya is moving at the speed he wants to move at. The real answer is Daya gave him attention. But it's like, just be honest and say like, this girl is moving at the speed that you want to be at. Why do you have to play these games and pretend like, oh, you know, you're so complete? No. They're both attractive to you, and you picked the one that moved at the speed you wanted. Because I can kind of understand Serena's frustration, because I feel like deep down inside, she knows that too. And I feel like she feels like he's playing in her face, which is annoying. I don't agree necessarily with the language she's using and the way she's being, but like, I do understand the frustration. I don't know, y'all. This is going to be a crazy week. The Twitter challenge is happening tonight. And then in a few days, there's movie night, and then there's going to be a public vote of individuals. So this is going to be a crazy week, y'all. Stay strapped in. Like I said, Love Island US is showing no signs of slowing down. Y'all, I dropped my remote down here. It's showing no signs of slowing down. But anyway, if you like this content, if you want to see the other recaps, please like, share, comment, and hit that subscribe. Please hit the subscribe button if you like my videos. Hit subscribe, okay? We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And if you want to make sure you see my videos when they come out, hit the notification bell, okay? I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!